I don't know why it's any more risky to look at the sun today than it is any other time. But hey, if that's what the media tells me, they must be right. Kind of funny. Yeah, Sergius is not yet on his side either. It'll be here. He must be an East Coast dude too. Cool. All right. Give everybody a couple more minutes. Hey, I'll pop on the call here. What I'm going to do today for you is I'm going to share through a metaphor a great example on creating success in our lives. And one, a lot of the trainings, let me take a step back here. A lot of the trainings that we do each week are a direct result of conversations and coaching that I've done during the days, a week leading up to this call. And what I'm going to talk about today is just something I see very, very, it's a common, it's almost like, I don't know, like a disease that a lot of people caught. And I want to share, it's hard to express the value of, let me get this camera down here a little, focus in words. So I'm going to use a bit of a metaphor today to show you in real life the value of focus as it's expressed in a certain sport that's near and dear to me. And then we'll bring it back to how it applies to us in our business. Okay. Vic says the eclipse hasn't happened. No, it's happening now. Cool. Yeah. To me, the eclipse isn't that big a deal, but hey, I don't know. I guess the fact that it only happens like once in a while makes it a big deal. I don't know. I don't know for certain. What are you gonna do, right? Cool. Bam. Well, let me just finish getting this camera adjusted. It's driving me nuts right now. I don't know why. So we're gonna do one other thing here. What if we, guys, be patient with me for like 13 seconds. Yeah, be patient 1 second here. Almost there. Almost there. While we're doing this, let me ask you guys if anybody's got anything exciting you want to share, any challenges in your business you want to share. I love challenges. It's where my expertise comes alive, solving stuff we got going on in our businesses. Right? Almost there. Bam, relocate. I'm putting the camera on a new stand. That'll work a little bit better for this presentation here. All right, so let's see what that did for us here. There we go. All right, now you guys are where you belong. Now we can bring it up a little. Perfect, 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 perfect. Okay. Your eyes can't focus on it without specific glass, so it's a big deal. You know, I'm not gonna look at it anyway. I wouldn't look into the sun. Well, whatever. All right, let's get rock and rolling here. So, presentation, but the importance of focus in your business. Because I'll tell you right now, I've dealt with 1, 2, 3. Might be something I'm forgetting. 3 people in the last, say, 5 or 6 days that I work with one-on-one that are brilliant, they're talented, they got great potential, but they can't freaking stay focused. They're like all over the place. And I'm like losing my mind. And I'm like, one of them, like, because I've been at this for a little while, I said, listen, love you to death and you're awesome, and can't work with you anymore because you won't listen to an effing thing I keep telling you. We're not going to make any progress. If you can't discipline yourself a little bit here, get really, truly committed, then you're wasting your money on me. And I'm not going to sit here and take your money if I can't help you. And I can't help you if you're unwilling to help yourself. Right? Kind of makes sense. So I want to share first what I call staying in your lanes metaphor or analogy. I don't even know the difference between metaphor and analogy. But let me share what I call staying in your lane. So you'll hear me say, if I'm working with you ever, you hear me say all the time, stay in your lane, or you're out of your lane. I'm going to show you what that means. And we're going to show you in this way. I'm going to pull my whiteboard here so that you have a visual that you're going to be able to pull back on. And it does start with identifying what your lane is, what your what your primary objective and cause is. What is it that you're working towards on? What's your role, right? The game of rugby, I'm going to use rugby as the metaphor or analogy here, okay? In the game of rugby, our job is to possess the ball and advance the ball. Because ultimately, if all we do is possess the ball and advance the ball, we'll score. And if we're the only ones who possess the ball, it means nobody else can possess it. Then they can't score. We win. Possess the ball and advance the ball. What does it take to do that? Well, in the game of rugby, man, like life, like business, requires we stay in our lane. I'm going to show you what that means. While we're going through this, I want you to ask yourself the simple question. When I say, what's your thing? Don't come up with a 9-page, this is my thing. I say, no, that's your problem. That ain't your thing. Your problem is you can't identify your thing. Rugby is to advance the ball and maintain possession. In my gym, my fitness center, it's one thing. Provide an outstanding experience for our clients every time they walk through the doors. That's simple. Your thing has got to be that simple. If some of you want to share your thing, that'd be cool. Let me show you rugby, how rugby is played, how the game of rugby is easily won. All you can do is do two things. Maintain possession, advance the ball. Okay? So, real quick, I'm not going to spend too much time going through that, right? All about rugby. But to give you a little idea, this is like the end zones, right? Two ends of the field, like a football field. Rugby is played north and south. Okay, we go up and down the field. Now you can run any way you want. There's no rules. You have sidelines. You got to stay within the field, but you can run any which way you want. But that's not how the game is won. Okay, a couple things unique to rugby. Your entire team is behind you when you have the ball. The ball is an onside, offside line. So let's say hypothetically, I'm here, and I have the ball. My entire team is going to be behind me, and it would look like this. Guy here, guy here, guy here, guy here, and I could have some guys out this way. And they'd be relatively in this capacity. And typically you'd have some guys in here, okay, going up the field. Follow me on this. I'm going to make this, I'm really making this simple, okay? The guy with the ball is the onside, offside line. The only way the opposition can stop the guy with the ball is to tackle him. Okay? That's it. Bam. And usually, they'll be lined up like this, man for man. Marking your guys, right? Guy for guy, 15 guys on a field. My objective here, right, is to run straight at this guy, commit him, get him to tackle me. Hopefully, maybe run a little through him a little so that this guy here gets pulled out of his lane and has to help in the tackle. Because if he does that, right when I'm going to get tackled, this guy here is running forward. As I run forward and I pass the ball, he catches the ball and keeps running forward. Now, if this guy is pulled out of his lane, he's free to score. He advances the ball. If he's not pulled out of his lane, he engages. The tackle is made. This guy comes up. Same thing. Ball gets passed. Makes a tackle. Guy comes up. Ball gets passed. Maybe he gets pulled out of his lane. He opens up to score. And you keep going back and forth across the field, pounding and pounding until you create a weakness. Now, here's the interesting thing about rugby, okay? There is massive barriers, obstructions along the way of the game. That's these guys. But the difference between rugby and, say, life, or the way some of us engage life, in the game of rugby, we take on the challengers on our terms. In life, we avoid challenges, and if they happen, shit, we're stumbled by them. Instead of going right at them, attacking them, creating a weakness, an opening, right? Because the second this guy overpowers him, he's got to come assisted in a tackle. This man's already advanced, a little pass, and he's going on to score through the gap. That's how rugby is played. That's why we play it in lanes. Now, let me show you a little difference here, okay? I'm going to screw up as little of this as possible. I'll have to rewrite the whole thing. Take the... All right, hang on. I showed you the right way to play rugby with a very simple objective. Maintain possession, advance the ball. Rinse and repeat. Maintain possession, advance the ball. Maintain possession, advance the ball. If you do that, you will score. You will win the game. This is the opposition. Now, show you how you screw up the game of rugby. Remember, we got this guy, and 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 this guy. Maybe we have some support guys, right? He's got the ball. I'm going to switch. He's got the ball. He starts this way. Everybody advances, right? But he thinks he's faster than the opposition. He thinks he's stronger than the opposition. He thinks he can run his ass around them. So he does this. Makes a left-hand turn. Runs out here. He leaves his lane. He gets distracted. He looks for an alternative path, something that looks better, a better opportunity. This guy intimidated him. Whatever it may be. Let me show you every guy, every lane you cross here, eliminate, eliminate, eliminate. Eliminated, 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 eliminated. When all of these guys are simply now, you eliminated your whole team, you left them behind, you pulled out of your lane, they can't support you, and all of these guys are simply doing this, looping over, right? Because they're already out in front of you. And they're coming in like this. You've got nowhere to go. You've eliminated your support. You eliminated your strength. You pulled away from your plan. And you empowered the opposition. Because you left your lane. You got distracted. You thought the grass was greener over there. Thought there's a better opportunity. Thought you weren't good enough to run in your lane, so you decided to choose another lane. All of those reasons are lies, and all of those reasons will leave you stranded out at the wing with the entire force of the opposition bearing down on you and nobody left to support you because you ran away from them. That's what happens when we lose focus in business. Now think, honestly, how many times have you been distracted? How many times have you left your lane? Are you even crystal clear on your lane right now? Maintain possession, advance the ball. Maintain possession, advance the ball. Provide an outstanding experience for our clients every time they walk through the door. That clarity, you need that to stay within your lane. How else would you know the boundaries of your lane if you can't define the lane? How would you know if you're cutting across your own support, eliminating your support, and empowering the defense? How would you know? You're like, oh, but I got to learn how to talk to sellers. No, that's not the hang-up. Is this kind of clear to you guys? Does this make sense, this metaphor? You say yes or no. They said these trainings come out of real-life struggles I see on a regular basis with our base of students. And this one frustrates me because this is a discipline issue. This is a commitment issue. Can't just want it. You got to be committed to it. You can't just be interested in it. You got to be willing to discipline yourself to it. If you're not passionate about what you're currently doing, the chances of getting through the defense, pretty slim. Passion is what takes mediocrity to awesome. If you're doing this for some weird other reason, but you're not wholly passionate about it, man, you're driving a Lamborghini on some very low octane gas. If you get what I'm saying. May all look good on the outside, but it's going to run like crap. Never going to be able to develop the horsepower it's capable of. Wanted to share that message with you. A couple things I'll end on here, okay? Just a couple things. I already kind of shared this with you, but I wrote this note to myself. If you're not in love with what you're doing, it's going to be very difficult to be very successful at it. And if your intent is not to be very successful at it, why? Why would you be doing it in the first place? That kind of makes sense. Why would you be, if you're not good, if your intent is not to be outrageously successful at it, why would you do it in the first place? The last thing I'll share with you, okay? Once you're clear on your lane, once you're crystal clear on your lane, maintain possession, move the ball forward. Crystal clear. That defines what you should be doing. Right? Once you're there, scream it to the world. Be the loudest person screaming that intention. Because the world will step up, fall into place, help support your outcome. It's kind of funny. We were out in Montauk, New York. Montauk is the tip of Long Island, kind of dubbed the fishing capital of the world. We're at this little breakfast place, my wife and I. And one thing I realized, because there's a million breakfast places, yet this dude's always jamming. You know what occurred to me? He never stops selling, but he doesn't sell by like, hey, buy my stuff. He sells by telling you what awesomeness he's serving, and ruthless about it, but describing from the bread to the way they bring in their locally raised bacon from the pigs, how the cheese is also from a local farm, how it's never frozen, all this kind of stuff. Never stops selling. He's the loudest guy it's not really an island. Well, it is kind of an island. He's not the loudest guy in Montauk talking about his lane. That's why he's so successful. And if you, quite honestly, are, you have hang-ups about bragging about what you do, if you can't stand behind it, it's going to be hard to have somebody else stand behind it. That makes sense? So a comment here. So this helped a lot when you said focus on number of leads each week. That's it. Simple. So thank you. It's from Dan. Yeah. How simple is that? What if your issue is right now you got nobody to talk to? Then forget everything else. Focus on generating leads. I said many times, the business and business in general can be broken down to a very simple statement. All you need is 3 things. Be able to generate leads. That's the thing we were talking about, Dan. Be able to convert leads to clients. And then a system to rinse and repeat. That's it. That's it. That's it. You say, well, Pat, I'm not making the money I want yet. Well, which one of those do you not have yet? 1 or 2 or all 3. And if it's all 3, start with the leads. Once you get the leads, focus on converting. Once you got them converting, the good conversion rate, now focus on developing a process behind it. But at least you know what the freak to focus on. Now you can change the result and the outcomes. You don't just keep doing the same thing. One thing I like about rugby, love about rugby, that's why I played it for 17 years, right? Rugby is not a wait around kind of sport. And it's another such great comparison to life, right? Those who succeed in life do not wait, they create. They don't wait for opportunities, they create opportunities. They don't wait for luck, they create luck. They don't wait to learn, they create an education by doing. Those who don't reach the outcomes they desire, they wait around. They see what will come their way. Like a jellyfish waiting around freaking for a fish to float by to sting or something. Versus like a giant mako who just goes out and eats everything. Beat a mako. That was pretty funny. All right, guys and gals. I'm going to let you rock and roll on that, okay? Short, sweet. When you hear me refer to stay in your lane, that's what I'm talking about, okay? Get focused. Know what your lane is. Know the boundaries of your lane. If right now it's leads, and that's your lane, don't do anything but get leads, get leads, get leads, get leads. But Pat, there's a webinar about rehabbing houses. So what? That's not in your lane right now. You're going to cut off your support and load up the opposition. Get in your lane. Get leads. Get leads. Get leads. Ball possession and advance the ball. Provide an outstanding experience for our clients every single time they walk through our doors. Get leads. Create your lane. Stay in your lane. There's a time and a place to change lanes, no doubt. Right? But know that time. Don't just run haphazardly across the field, cutting off your support, losing your focus, and inevitably running into the heart of the opposition. Peace, guys. Always a pleasure. Have a great day.